So to kind of shake the energy up a little bit, let's acknowledge ourselves for showing up. Let's take up the energy. Move it around just a little bit. Yeah. Today we're going to continue with in the Course in Miracles in terms of what it's teaching about the development of trust. Because I don't know about you, but I really want to have an experience where I'm always safe, I'm always provided for, where there's lots of love in my life, some joy, some fun, and a realization of my real identity, that I can't be hurt, that who I am is incredibly free and strong. Anybody else would like to have that kind of experience?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So how am I gonna? And I also want to believe I didn't create myself. I do want to believe in a higher power. I do want to believe in something greater than my own. So I'm definitely God-centered. I'm definitely Spirit-centered, because that's where I see my real happiness is being located, is knowing that I'm just not out here on my own trying to do it by myself, trying to figure out everything the best I can. So the Course in Miracles teaches that there's stages that you go through when you say you want to develop trust in something greater than yourself. There are some stages that you're going to go through, and if you're aware of these stages, then you won't freak out when they come up, okay? The first thing that happens when you say you want to develop trust in something greater than yourself, or you want to develop trust, is that you go through a period of undoing. And in that period of undoing, it looks like things are being taken away from you. It looks like things are leaving. And what we don't understand is that when you change your values, the thing that you used to value goes away. So when you first change your value, say I'm going to go from fearing myself or being upset with myself to loving myself. Then when I make that choice, then the old way I used to be and the old way I used to look at things just don't work the way they used to. And so things and people and situations and circumstances will begin to lead my life. So the first thing to get clear about is that when you change, then a lot of times there are going to be some things in your life that are going to seem to leave your life, and it may even look to you like there are some things in your life being taken away, but the truth is you just recognizing they're not valuable to you the way they used to be. Then it says the next thing you go through is that in most cases we're too stubborn to go ahead and change on our own. We used to have something happen to us, and then when something happens to us, then we get really serious about doing something different. So until you change on the inside, then you're going to have some external things that are going to come about in your life to bring about the change that you need to go through in order to be happy. So it's almost like in spite of what we think about ourselves, there's something that loves us so much that it won't let us stay stuck even if we want to stay stuck. So therefore, if I'm messing around about changing myself enough to let myself have some joy, there's going to be some things that are going to happen in my external situation that help me go ahead and make the internal change. And the internal change is me recognizing that I'm the one that's creating my reality, that I'm innocent, that I'm loving, and that I'm powerful. And I'm not going to come to that realization on my own sometimes until I have a crappy relationship. I'm not going to come to the realization sometimes until I think I don't have enough money. Sometimes I don't get changed until I get some health situation happen that makes me say there must be a better way. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If we would go ahead and just make the shift internally, we wouldn't have to go through all those things. But since I don't do that all the time, I don't know about you all, but since I don't always follow guidance immediately, there seems to be some things that come up in my life that make me have to go ahead and say, you got to get on it, Purdy. And then he says, then if you want to get past that stage instead of freaking out about all the stuff that's going on in your life right now that you may not be that happy about, or maybe you are happy about, you have to say all changes are helpful. So everything that I'm going through in my life right now is helping me. Everything I think I'm upset about is helping me. Everything I think I'm enjoying and loving and feeling good about is helping me. Everything I feel confused about is helping me. Everything that's happening to me right now, all the changes I'm going through are helpful. That's how I get to the next level. I go with all these changes are helpful. And when I call them helpful and really believe that everything that I'm going through is helpful, he says, then you go to the next stage. So I'm going to go to the next stage right now since I don't have to believe this. It says we don't have to believe it. If it's the truth, you don't have to believe it. I'm Earl, whether you believe it or not. So your belief has nothing to do with my identity. So therefore, all the things that's happening in your life right now are really helpful to you, whether you think so or not. It doesn't really make any difference whether you like it or not. It's helping you. Then it says, so I'm going to claim it, even though some things I go, hell no, that couldn't be helpful. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to claim that everything that's going on in my life right now is helping me. Okay. Then the next thing it says is that then you're going to start judging everything in your life based on whether or not what you're doing you think is helping you, or whether what you're doing is delaying you. So the next thing you want to ask yourself is, I'm gonna look at all my relationships and say, is this relationship that I'm in, are these relationships really helpful to my goal of having peace and joy and happiness in my life, or are these relationships pretty much giving me all the hell that I'm having? Is this way of thinking bringing me the peace that I want right now? Do I really feel peace right now? Or do I need to stop thinking this way because it's not helpful? So all of a sudden you start looking at things not in terms of bad or good, but in terms of whether it's helpful or whether it's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is it helpful?
Yes.
Then it's helpful. If it's helpful, then it's valuable. If it's not helpful, then it's not valuable. How do I know whether something is helpful or not? Whether or not it's helping me achieve my goal. What is my goal? Peace, happiness, joy, recognition of who I am, loving myself, knowing my innocence. See, since I'm clear that that's my goal, if I'm in any situation that's not going on, then I know that situation isn't helpful unless I use it to somehow remind me of my goal. So my anger reminds me that I want peace. My jealousy reminds me I want love. Any kind of limitation reminds me I want freedom. So that's how I go beyond it. It's helpful if it's helping me achieve my goal. But if you say all changes are helpful, then you are already saying that what I'm going through right now is valuable. If it's all helpful, it's all valuable. Okay? So how can you tell if something is a distraction and whether or not something is going to be something that's delaying you? If it moves you toward your goal, it is helpful. If it's not moving you toward your goal, it's a delay. I didn't say it was sinful. I didn't say it was bad. It's a delay. So the delay comes from how you look at it. Then it goes to the next paragraph. It says the third stage you go through is the once you figure out what's valuable in your life and in your perception, and the once you see what's not valuable in your perception, he says you do the very next thing, which is to get rid of the thing that's not helpful. You let it go. And then whenever you think that whenever you letting go of something is not for your best interest, or you think that the truth that you're studying is asking you to give up something or someone or some attitude that you're not ready to give up yet, then that's how he said, that's how you can tell that what you're looking at isn't the truth, because the truth would never ask you to give up something that was for your own best interest. Love would never ask you to give up something that was really helping you. Love wouldn't say, you got to give up the one thing you really love if you want to get to me. God wouldn't say, you got to give up everything you love to get to me. Truth would never ask for a sacrifice. People who don't know what